The reason why you can feel the world suffering is because you're my son. You may understand why I didn't want to create life, for life in chaos is a life in conflict and suffering. I didn't want to see that in my creation, so I never wanted that until I was forced to. It breaks me to feel every being struggle and suffer, as I can see through their eyes. And that is a bit what you can feel too. Humans will not worship me, for I never wanted them, and I'm not here with them to guide them, because they can't seem to feel me like you can feel me. But they carry also my blood, my body, and even my soul. While humans giving it to those who forced my hand for creation, those who didn't care that my creation was built on chaos, creating suffering, conflict, and pain to each other. To my children, now they can only learn alone, and I'm sorry that you can feel my creation and the suffering of my creation through you. It wasn't meant to be this way. This is a chapter that I wrote in my book of Dragon Shadows that I came to hear at my job yesterday. I was actually in a trance while I was listening to my goddess. It doesn't happen a lot, of course, that my goddess talks to me. Most of the time, it's my guardian, and I'm very happy that my guardian talks to me all the time. It's like music in my ears every time that my guardian, the dragon, is telling me something to me. It's like, yeah, music to my ears, like I said. But once Tiamat does that, everything stands still, and I'm immediately in a trance. It's the goddess of all things, of course. And whenever Tiamat is talking to me, it's more like music. I can feel everything in this world. I can feel all life. I was actually very sad at that moment because I just saw how humans slaughtered animals, like they were actually laughing with each other while they were slaughtering animals, and it's like, well, why are they doing this, and why are they killing each other, killing all of them? I was telling myself this, and then my goddess, or our goddess, the dragon goddess Tiamat, responded. And that is what you cannot expect. Whenever Tiamat wants to talk to you, you cannot expect that. You cannot prepare yourself for that. It's an energy that is so connected to you. Whenever Tiamat wants to say something, you are silent. You are immediately silent. But I came to understand what she wanted to say. And that is what you have to know, Tiamat is the goddess of chaos. She is all the chaos in the world. That is also where every path of the dragon is based on chaos. It will always be on chaos, never on order. Always be chaos. That is where our path comes to, and that is why we don't need anyone else to create our path. That is not what the dragon gods would want. The dragon gods want us to feel ourselves and to connect with ourselves and with our own draconic souls. That is what other humans cannot. That is why they want order in spirituality. They call it religion, but we are a spirituality that is based out of chaos, and that is what Tiamat is. Chaos, and we should be actually very glad that this is based out of chaos. But out of chaos also was, and that is what I could understand for what Tiamat was saying to me, that she was not interested into creating life, because we all praise the Lord, because he created life. False. That is not what Tiamat has told me. She was the one that created life unintentionally out of this great war. The great story of Tiamat, where she was split into the great war of the heavens, where she was against Marduk and all of these other lesser gods that could not create life, that needed her energy to create life. Of course, Tiamat was not a fighter. She's not a fighter. She only protects herself, and that is what her children do as well. She had a lot of direct children with her, and all of these direct children wanted to protect her because she's the mother of all, and I would do the same thing. I would protect Tiamat as well, protecting her. I would do the same thing immediately. Of course, that is what Tiamat made me actually a bit known about, that she was never intended to create life, because when she created life, it is all based on chaos, and chaos, where life is based on chaos, it has to start from the beginning, not immediately with all of the wisdom like the gods wanted. And that is what I understand from Yahweh and Marduk, and that is what I understand from the other side. The other side wanted to have this, because with the creation of Tiamat, when you deceive the creation of Tiamat into making them know who the other gods are, you are asking them, the creation of Tiamat, you are asking us to let them have the power of Tiamat, actually, and to let them have, through us, to have the power of a god, to have the power of a goddess in this case. And it makes me so sad, whatever Tiamat. Of course, even if I was at my job, I immediately wrote this down. It was not in the exact same words that I was writing it down, but I have to write it down so I would not forget it. It was so intense, I immediately wanted to make a video to make you sure that this just happened. I just talked to Tiamat. I mean, Tiamat responded to my thoughts, and because it was very sincere, I don't like violence. I hate violence. I'm a vegan. I don't like any words of violence, and that is not what Tiamat as well, because Tiamat can handle it, but her creation cannot. Her creation has to learn from the beginning, and that is being called evolution. But in the beginning, and where we live today, they still need to learn, because they still go to war, they still have conflict, even the animals together, they are so nasty to each other. Why is this? Because Tiamat is being based on chaos. And chaos, in this case, she can handle it very much. She knows what chaos is. She's the mistress of chaos, because chaos is not always bad. Chaos learns us, it teaches us how to learn and to be ourselves. That is also what our path is doing. Our path is teaching us how to be ourselves, and that is not a bad thing. But in this case, she did not want to create life, because she was afraid that she could feel all of the suffering that is creating out of the chaos. Because humans, in our case, and all of our creation, cannot handle that kind of chaos. Even they don't realize it themselves, because the early creation of Tiamat is actually, primitive. They don't know anything about anything, so they just destroy and make everything hurt each other as much as possible, because it's made out of chaos. And that is what Tiamat didn't want. She did not want her creation to suffer. And that is what the other side, they wanted Tiamat to create life. Tiamat refused, and so the war began. So, and eventually life began whatsoever. Life began anyway. And so, because she lost the war, while her first hand, son was Kingo, and he was thrown in the void. He was thrown in the deepest part of the void. And so she was only here on this earth, split in two, but still everything that grows and everything that is nature is still Tiamat, and I can feel her so well in everything that grows and everything that is alive. Of course, when you say this to people, it's like crazy. And when you say this to people, I've spoken to the dragon goddess just at my job. It's schizophrenic. Is that you are? I know how it sounds. That is a reason why I just want to talk to you about this. That I came to understand what actually Tiamat's creation really is. Tiamat's creation is based out of chaos. Tiamat's creation is, of course, all of her children. And that is what the God of today actually uses. I created everything. I create you. And if you don't listen to me, you go to hell. And that is where it is all based on. Because the God where everyone is bowing down for is actually not really a God. Never was. He only hoped to be a God through us. Through the creation of Tiamat. And I'm actually very, very sorry for Tiamat and all of the other dragon gods as well to be so foolish, to step into these lies, to follow these lies and this deception that I really am ashamed every single day for wearing a human face and just doing the same thing as a human should do. So but I'm very grateful that my dragon goddess takes effort to explain it all, because I have to admit something. I didn't really believe the story of Tiamat in the beginning of my path. It felt so magical and far-fetched, but the closer that I am on the dragon's path, the more that I am on the dragon's path, the more that I came to realize it all makes sense. Everything about life, everything about death, everything about the religion, everything about the dragon, everything about history and how humans are, it all makes sense. Whatever Tiamat told me, it all makes sense. And it made me actually lose a tear because at my job, because Tiamat just confirmed me that her story was true, that she really had a conflict. She's not a fighter. That is the reason why she lost. But of course, a goddess never dies. So the dragon goddess is still here, everything where we are, and that is so beautiful about this. Where we are, the dragon's still here, and that is so beautiful about this, that she still allows her children to be together, and that we are together with our guardians. And that is so beautiful about this, that Tiamat will never, ever die, and Tiamat will always listen to us.